harem is, without a doubt, one of the more popular genres in anime since the past decade, with most of the indie titles featuring this genre and some major titles finding substantial success within the genre. The idea of a story revolving around a well-formed male protagonist with a lot of female side characters going head over heels for him works out fine. But how often do you come up with something similar to this but just slightly different? Reverse harem is a concept where everything is the same as a normal harem, except the main character is a female with a lot of side male characters fighting to win her over. At least, that's the base idea. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Join us today as we take a look into some underrated titles of a rather underrated title in itself. Buckle up, as here are 10 reverse harem animes that you have not watched. But before we begin, make sure you smash that subscribe button and have the notification bell ringing for future updates. Number 10. Libra of Nil Admirari. Focusing heavily on the Taisho era of Japan, which if you do not know about the Taisho era, then I recommend you go and spend some time researching about it. Fun stuff. Anyways, take that period into account and imagine that it never ended. The story follows our main character with the name of Tsugumi Kuze, and the major drive behind the character is that her brother took her own life. This becomes the central narrative of the story, with much of the events that occur being focused around her brother's suicide. To unveil the cause of her brother's suicide, Kuze joins the Imperial Library Intelligence Asset Management Bureau, where she comes across 6 men with unique abilities, each of whom then serves as the harem dynamic for Kuze. Number 9. Damepri Anime Caravan. While most harem animes are remotely based on a fantasy world or in a high school setting, we have not seen a proper harem thrive on a pure adventure setting and a story so unique that it dumps major cliches. Enter Damepri Anime Caravan. The anime follows the story of Ani, who is a princess of a nation trying to establish a good diplomatic relationship with neighboring nations. As a result of this, Ani is compelled to cooperate with the princes of other nations to sign peace treaties, which of course doesn't go well, and after a series of unfortunate events, Ani finds herself embarked on a journey with a handful of other princes, setting up for a rich adventure experience with a reverse harem flavor in it. Number 8. 100 Sleeping Princes and the Kingdom of Dreams. This title is as reverse harem as it gets. If the name 100 Sleeping Princes did not feel like a harem to you, then nothing else will. This anime is rather controversial when it comes to the flow of its story. Nonetheless, the premise of the anime was still very promising. The story is about a girl whose name is not once mentioned throughout the entirety of the series, finding herself in a different reality where she is tasked with waking up the sleeping princes inside of the royal rings. Her dynamic with each prince and their interactions are quite forced and limited, but still, this anime is worth giving a watch. Number 7. Hakauki. Probably a very different anime from all other entries in terms of tonality and audience. Hakauki maintains a much darker tone with a very serious storyline, accompanied by a lot of blood and violence. Our main character, Chizuru Yukimura, finds herself in Kyoto in the search for her father, but is then attacked by 2 men possessing demonic qualities. After being saved by a certain man, she is tangled with a bunch of people who specialize in ending these humans possessing the powers of demons. The action is the key attraction of this anime, and takes away a huge chunk of attraction from the harem element, but still setting a reverse harem story on such a combustible premise was always going to be a gamble. Number 6. B Project. This one is as cliché as it gets, but what sets it apart as a good reverse harem title is the pacing and the amount of thought that was put into each character and their dynamic with the female protagonist. Every male character in this anime feels fleshed out, and each of them has at least one episode dedicated to them. This allows the audience to bond with the male characters almost as much as our female lead does. What's interesting about this particular anime is that it is about an all-boys idol group who are a bit high and mighty, but then everything changes when the new transfer student, the female protagonist, turns out to be more than just a competitor to the boys. Number 5. Haruka Beyond the Stream of Time. The artwork on this anime is equivalent to that of a mainstream anime itself, even though animes like this have to run on a rather low budget. You can consider this anime isekai, and it is a good one too. After being brought upon a new world, Akane Motomiya is named as the priestess of Dragon God, whatever that means. The story progresses quickly, with Akane finding new allies in the form of 8 men called Hachiyu, who reveal that they had sworn allegiance to the priestess for a long time. Number 4. Bonjour, Sweet Love Pasterier. A proper romance story is hard to establish, especially when the romance element is comprised of different characters trying their luck with the same character. Balancing the raw emotional spectrum during such situations is a work of art, and that is exactly what Bonjour, Sweet Love Patissiere is all about. Sayuri Haruno's desire for being a pastry chef causes her to join a confectionery academy where she comes across a lot of other male characters who share the same ambition but have various reasons for wanting to be a pastry chef. Their drive and unique abilities, combined with their compassion towards Sayuri, make this anime a light-hearted roller coaster. Number 3. Ludere Deorum. This is a rather high-stakes anime with a bit of rushed pacing, but the conditions in which the story is set definitely make the anime worth the time. The story follows Yui Kusanagi, who is an average teen girl until she is transported to a different world with a very important task in her hands. Her job is to make sure that the god of this world knows what it is like to live as a human being, and to make things more interesting, unlike other isekai animes, the main character in this one is given a certain time to accomplish her mission, and if she fails to do so in the given time, then she will not have the chance to go back to her world. Number 2. The Story of Sainun Koku. This anime has aged quite a lot and not in a good manner. Despite the 90s art style, which is an artifact in the modern world, the story of Sainun Koku lost popularity a couple of years ago into its initial release for reasons known to God himself, because there wasn't much wrong with this anime. The story picks up with a false protagonist in the form of Shure, who is a male and is called upon the emperor's consort to be trained as a ruler. The events after this are picked up by a strong female lead, with Shure more or less acting as an imperative side character and harem member. Number 1. Cheeky Angel. It can be easily compared with some of the best romance animes out there, although it isn't popular at all and is criminally underrated. Cheeky Angel's balance of romance, fantasy, as well as a small flair of action makes it a unique anime in all respects. What's interesting about the anime is that the protagonist, Megumi, starts as a man, but after his wish of being a man's man is misunderstood by a genie, he is turned into a woman. This causes Megumi to enter Furinkan High School, where she, or I might say he, searches for ways to turn back into a man. But her time in the school causes a lot of other boys to get attracted to her attitude as a woman having manly traits, gives an oddly satisfying tomboyish flair to the character. So that was our list of 10 reverse harem animes that you have not watched. If there are titles that you think we have not watched, then do let us know down below. And if you have not already, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all our future updates.